Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So this is my Pandas Eyeshadows update. It's going to be a little bit of a different video because I've said in so many videos I'm going to be moving, and for this upcoming month and a half, depending on like how long it takes sort of to settle down, and we need to pack, I am going to do a pause on my Pandas eyeshadows, and I'm actually going to do a pan that palette so that I can pick one palette to travel with me and it'll just make a little bit more sense. So I'm going to obviously show you all the progress that I've made the last month on my current eyeshadows that I've been working on, but I am going to do a pause. I'm not going to roll in any new ones or anything like that, but I am going to pause those, and I want to pack them up basically. I need to pack up all my makeup and start doing that, so I can't keep doing these videos. So I'm going to do a pan that palette for the next month and a half, depending on, when everything settles down. And hopefully that is just as exciting. I have picked the palette that I'm going to be panning, but I will talk about that at the end of this video or after I do my update. So yeah, I just wanted to explain that because it just made a little bit more sense. I don't want to travel with 4 or 5 different palettes. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I want to pack everything up and I need to start doing that. So let's get started. I will start with the eyeshadow that I used the least, although there's a bunch of them that I've used the same amount of times. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is in the Club Nebula palette. This is the Kaleidos palette, and mine is looking like this. So I have been working on this shade right here, which is Celestial. You can see there's quite a nice dip now, and I used this 5 times this month. I have it on today. I actually have all of my Panos eyeshadows on today. Yeah, 5 times, nice dip. I mean, I feel like these shades are really soft in formula. I have to say, I think I prefer the mattes in this palette to the shimmers. I think the shimmers are stunning and I really like them, but they're more of toppers, whereas I feel like I like a shimmer that has a little bit more ump to it and not so much topper. I think topper shades are super pretty, but sometimes you just want a shimmer that has the base as well. But anyway, yeah, this has been really pretty. It's a duochrome, so obviously it's got that shifted pink, so it really just comes off on the lids very pink and sparkly, very, very pretty. And then the other shade that I've been working on, also used 5 times. I'm really annoyed that you can't even, oh, there you go. You can see a little dip there. So there is a dip forming, finally. I've had this for 3 months now in the project, and I'm finally seeing a nice little dip there. I used it 5 times as well. I've been using it more to deepen up my looks. I was using it as sort of a blending shade initially, so there wasn't really that much progress, and also the other times I only used it 3 times, but now I've used it 5 times this month. It's still not a preference of mine. I still feel like for the summer it hasn't been all that great, but now that I'm feeling more, autumny, I'm going to miss this now that I'm going to not actually work on it anymore. But I'm happy that there's a dip, and honestly, I'm happy that this palette, you can see some love in the palette. Obviously, I've got a nice dip there, nice dip here, nice dip really on the shimmers, to be honest, not so much this one. But yeah, that's my update for this palette, and as I said, I'm going to pause it. I'm not sure what I'm going to do when I unpause it, which will be about October time, if I'm going to bring these back in, because obviously I didn't hit pan and I haven't reached the 20 usage goal. I might bring them back in, or I might just like roll in brand new ones. I think it's just going to be dependent on how I feel at the time, so you'll just have to wait and see, because I don't know. Okay, the next couple of shades I've used 6 times. I'll start with this one. This is in the Neon palette from Primark, and this one was this shade right here. It's just a pink, very pink, light matte shade. Nothing really to say about that. There is a tiny little disturbance and a tiny little dip, but really not much to say about it. I've used it 6 times, but honestly, I can obviously I've got it on today, and I can remember maybe a couple other times, but I don't remember using it 6 times. So maybe I'm just, losing my mind. I don't remember using it that many times. I feel like I used the Club Nebula way more, but maybe that's because I had 2 different shades in there, so I was using it a lot more, but maybe not necessarily both together. So anyway, yeah, this is nice. I actually prefer this to the green one that I had. I had the green neon palette last month, and I think this one has better formula, but maybe it's just because it's an easier formula to make. The colors are a little bit easier. I don't know. And then the other shade that I've been using 6 times is from my Mint to Be Colourpop palette, and this one I have got a really nice dip as well. I've used this 6 times this month. I also hit pan in this one, so this is a little bonus pan. I had this in my Pan Nose eyeshadows a few months ago, and I kind of gave up. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna hit pan, so I rolled it out, and then I hit pan this month, so I'm quite happy about that, because I was pairing the two together, and I think I dipped into this one a little bit this month. But yeah, this one has got a really nice dip. Honestly, it's not that bad. I haven't really been wanting to do a lot of greens. I don't know what it is about me. I just, throughout the year, I only like specific colors on my lids, and it just wasn't the best color story for me in terms of, you know, what I really wanted to play around with this summer. I really wanted like really light, orangey, more neutral looks this summer, and I got pinks and mauves and greens, which is more like autumn wintry for me. But yeah, I'm really happy that there is a dip, and honestly I'm happy with the way that this palette is looking. It looks like it's been loved, and I really do like this palette. I don't think the formula is the best formula from Colourpop just so far from what I've gathered with my other Colourpop palettes. I think the shimmer formula is a little bit powdery compared to some other ones, so I wasn't a huge fan. I mean, I loved this color, but I'm just not a huge fan of the texture of it, I think. But yeah, this one I'm just so pleased that there's such a dip. I mean, I don't know if you can really see. My lighting is always bad in these videos, but yeah, quite a lovely dip there. And if I kept going, I might hit pan, so I might bring this one back in just so I can do that. And maybe in October I'll want to. So, and then the last shade that I've been working on is from my MAC palette. This is the Star Sighting Compact. This is a Christmas special that I got a few years ago. And the shade that I've been working on is this neutral one down here. Now again, I do have a little bit of a dip. You can see there's definitely some change to it, but it's been such an easy shade to use. I used this 10 times. I actually feel like I could have used it a lot more, but I was using some of my Shop My Stash palettes, so I got a little bit distracted this month. But this formula is not the softest. It's definitely nothing like Colourpop or even the Kaleidos formula. It's a lot more rigid. However, having said that, it's not dry. It does blend really nicely. So it's just a different type of formula that I usually like. I like actually the Kaleidos matte formula. I like that buttery soft formula, and I think Colourpop also has something similar like that in the shades that work. But this one is a completely different formula, and I actually really like it. And I think this is such a pretty palette, to be honest. It's just a really nice palette. And this is the best inner corner shade I have in my whole collection. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's just perfect. It is so stunning, and yeah, I really kind of enjoyed using this palette again, and these two shimmers are really nice. And this is a really good black. I did an all black look this month because I was feeling dark and I wanted to do it. And it's a really, really good black. I think it's the best black that I have in my collection. And so I'm really happy that I rolled this in because it's been sitting in my collection and I really hardly used it. I only ever really touched these two and nothing else. But I kind of realized that it's not so bad. And it's been fun playing with the MAC formula because I'm not used to it. So it's nice. All right, so on to what I'm going to be doing the next month and a half. I've been thinking about this for a week or so, but I only just decided today what palette I'm going to be using. And some of you might be like, oh my gosh. And then some of you might be, yeah, that's great. But I didn't want to pick a palette that I thought would be I didn't want to pick a really colourful palette because we're going to be on the road, we're going to be travelling. I want something that's a little bit practical and more muted and more of just everyday look. And I also didn't want to pick one of my absolutely favorite palettes because I don't want it to get destroyed for any reason. You know, because we're traveling, you know, we're going to be we're traveling by road, so you know, I'm going to have this in my luggage and in the car and stuff. So yeah, I wanted to pick one that is older, and I don't really mind if it breaks a little bit. So I'm going to pick my Naked. This is the original Naked. Yeah, I know some people are like, oh my gosh, it's, how can you take that? It's a holy grail. But I don't really mind if this gets damaged at all. And also, I've like hardly played with this in the last couple years. When I first got it, it was really the only palette that I actually had. So I played around with it a lot and I used it a lot, but then I just stopped wearing eyeshadow for quite a few years. And so this is a bit old. This is about 4 or 5 years old, to be honest, but I feel like the formula is okay. It's not bad. And I do want to get more use out of it before it does turn really bad. So yeah, I'm going to do this. And I've got no pans in these or anything. I've got a little bit of a dip in Sin. Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, Sin, Sidecar, and Toasted were my 3 favorite, and they're obviously the shimmers. I used Half Bake a little bit, and Virgin, but I have to tell you, these 3 mattes, the Naked, Buck, and actually there's just 2 mattes. Yeah, the 2 mattes I really didn't use that much, and I've always hated using mattes, but I know how I feel like I've grown to appreciate mattes. So it'll be interesting to see how I feel about these mattes, because I do like that softer formula, and I don't think these kind of remind me more of the MAC matte that I was just talking about. So we'll see. They're a little bit stiffer and not as creamy, but they should blend fine, because from what I remember, this palette was really good and it blended fine. And I just want to, I want to put more use into this. In terms of usage goals, I'm not going to do a usage goal, but I would like to try to use every shade at least once in the next month and a half. I think that's doable. I mean, I know these 2 are just awful, but I think I could try to use them in some way at least once. That's going to be my overall goal, but yeah, I just want to play around with it more. And I will definitely keep track of which shades I use. I'll keep a tally and things like that, because I think it'll be interesting to find out which I kind of went for. And I've never done a pan that palette, so I think it'll be interesting. And I want to roll this in. I really want to do some more neutrals, and I think it's just a good palette to just chuck in. And honestly, I still have the brush, so I could just pop the brush in, and then I don't have to worry about taking some other eye brushes. I think that just makes a lot of sense. And then I'll just worry about my face products. And yeah, so for that, I'm going to do like a travel video where I pick all my travel skincare and makeup. So obviously this will be rolled in to that. But yeah, I'm going to do another separate video to that. And it'll be like a shop my stash, but for the travel. And so stay tuned for that. I'm excited to pick which items I'm going to want to pick for the travel, because I actually haven't even thought about that, but I do want to start packing everything up. I need to start packing everything up, because this little corner behind me is literally hasn't been touched, and the rest of the house has been we've been packing and things like that. So I need to do a lot of work. So I'm excited about the next month and a half, obviously, because lots of things are going to happen. And I will try to update in the beginning of October. I think I should be able to do that. We'll just see how everything goes. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe if you'd like to, and I'll see you next time. Bye.